In a kingdom blessed by water and order, the queen was loved as deeply as the spring itself.
A wise ruler learns the names of humble plants before she reaches for a crown.
The kingdom prospered because the king carried power, yet the queen gave that power balance.
I want to know every path the river takes beyond our walls.
Royal daughters in old tales are often marked by a token, and a ring quietly foretells the trial of identity still to come.
When illness entered the palace, silence became heavier than the stone itself.
Promise me that if you marry again, it will be only to one wiser and more beautiful than I.
The promise meant as comfort, hardened into a vow the kingdom would one day fear.
Loss first teaches a princess that palaces cannot command time.
In 17th century court culture, public mourning displayed both private sorrow and political stability, turning grief into ritual for all to witness.
Princes and ministers brought portraits from distant lands, yet none matched the memory he would not release. The kingdom needed an heir, and politics began pressing against grief until grief turned dangerous. Instead of letting memory soften, the king measured every living woman against an impossible absence.
I will marry only the woman who surpasses the queen in beauty and wisdom.
Fairy tales often use impossible demands to expose a moral fracture, and the princess understood before anyone else that the vow had turned toward her.
Delay him with wonders, my child, and keep your courage hidden until the path opens.
If you truly insist, then bring me a dress the color of the changing sky.
The king commanded every artisan to chase the sky with silk and silver thread.
Blue cloth once cost fortunes in royal courts, and its rarity here proves how obsession can empty a treasury faster than war.
Then bring me a dress as luminous and pale as the moon. Needle by needle, the palace tried to sew the night sky into obedience. Even wonder becomes frightening when it is offered as a trap.
Then bring me a dress brighter than the sun itself.
Sun and moon garments in literary fairy tales often symbolize rank beyond human measure, turning clothing into a test of impossible desire.
The last delay had failed, and the palace walls seemed to close in with the light.
The day is set, and nothing remains between us but ceremony.
The donkey that fed the treasury with gold was wealth made flesh, and asking for its hide was meant to shatter the king's resolve.
Then I ask for the hide of the royal donkey that drops gold into the straw. Then I ask for the hide of the royal donkey that drops gold into the straw.
By surrendering the source of endless gold, the king proved that obsession had outrun reason, economy, and mercy alike.
The ugliest disguise had become her only gate to freedom. Take what remembers your true self, and let no rag convince you that you are lost. Animal skins in folklore mark the threshold between one identity and another, a painful costume for survival rather than shame.
Before dawn could summon the wedding drums, the princess chose exile over a crown. No map serves a fugitive as faithfully as fear and stubborn hope together.
For the first time, she saw herself neither as bride nor princess, but as a traveler with only her own will to trust. Disguise protects, yet it also invites the cruelty people reserve for what they do not understand.
Old farm households ran on invisible labor,
And kitchens were the lowest rung where rank could vanish beneath soot in a single day.
She traded marble halls for soot and dishwater, and no one guessed what discipline already lived in her hands. Each task stripped away ceremony and left only endurance. Work marked her skin, yet not even hardship could teach her hands to lose their elegance.
The smallest secret room can shelter a whole former life when memory is all one dares to keep. Magical caskets in fairy tales often symbolize identity, storing not only garments.
Chance first arrived not as a meeting, but as a glimpse bright enough to disturb certainty.
Survival demanded that beauty become a secret once more.
Survival demanded that beauty become a secret once more. Even among noise and labor, mystery gathered around the one figure who never seemed to belong to mud. The keyhole scene turns desire into recognition, a classic fairy tale moment where hidden identity is seen but not yet understood.
He had seen ladies glitter at court, yet none had struck him with this inward certainty.
Lovesickness in fairy tales is not merely romance, but narrative proof that truth has pierced disguise.
No herb or potion could cure a longing born from an unanswered vision. I will eat only a cake baked by the strange girl they call Donkeyskin.
She worked carefully, not for honor, but because honest skill remained hers even under rags.
At last he reached not for medicine, but for the ordinary food that might reveal the extraordinary.
The smallest object can carry the whole hidden architecture of identity.
The smallest object can carry the whole hidden architecture of identity.
Ring tests in old stories bind romance to legitimacy, turning a private token into a public proof of truth. Rank arrived in silks and jewels, yet truth refused every polished finger.
The search widened beyond nobility, because symbols of destiny care little for social order.
Fairy tales briefly level the world by letting every class step before destiny's test.
News travels fastest to kitchens, where the lowly hear everything long before they are invited to matter. In European tale traditions, rings often serve as identity tokens because they are intimate, durable, and
Every failed attempt sharpened his certainty that the true hand still lived outside the court's assumptions. The prince commands that the girl called Donkeyskin appear before the ring.
Tell him I will come, but let me be alone for one moment first.
Bathing scenes in transformation tales.
Bathing scenes in transformation tales mark rebirth, because water reveals what disguises tried only to protect, never erase. When truth is finally summoned, the tale grants her not a borrowed face, but her own magnificence returned.
The right fit is less a measurement than a revelation, a visible harmony between token and rightful wearer.
Servants who came expecting ridicule suddenly became witnesses to a truth too bright for mockery. The hall that had judged every class now fell silent before splendor that no title had predicted.
Perrault's courtly fairy tales delight in revelation scenes where true rank shines not through announcement, but through undeniable presence.
You are the one I saw beyond the keyhole, and I would know you even in darkness.
I hid in rags to keep my soul free, and the ring found me before the world did. Fairy godmothers often embody inherited wisdom, arriving at the crucial instant to...
Word flew to the princess's father that the lost girl in rags had been found alive and honored in another court.
Power travels heavily when it is forced to meet the child it once failed to protect.
No fanfare could soften the shame carried into that courtyard. The hardest reunion in fairy tales is not between lovers, but between kin, when innocence has been betrayed.
I forgive what grief distorted. But never again may love be confused with possession.
Fairy intervention here acts less as magic than as judgment, placing ethical order back where desire had broken it. Stand beside me freely, not because fate commands it, but because your heart chooses mine.
I choose you with the same freedom that once led me away from a crown.
Preparation for a royal wedding turns labor into spectacle, with every stitch announcing that disorder is being rewoven into harmony. Feasts in courtly tales function as public theater, proving abundance after the threat of moral ruin has passed.
This key guarded every part of me that fear could not destroy.
Disguise in literary fairy tales is rarely falsehood. More often, it is the shield that allows truth to survive hostile power.
Even absent mothers remain active presences in fairy tales, shaping endings through memory, warning, and example.
She entered marriage not as a rescued child, but as a woman who had already defended her own dignity.
I will honor the courage that brought her here, more than any crown placed upon her head.
Wedding bells once served as civic soundscapes, announcing not just joy but the restoration of lawful and hopeful order to the whole community.
He would witness the joy he nearly destroyed, and humility became the only fitting garment left to him.
This time, the ceremony is not a trap, but a chosen threshold.
Lilies suggest renewal while rosemary carries memory, making the bouquet itself a small literary analysis of loss healed without being forgotten.
Lilies suggest renewal while rosemary carries memory, making the bouquet itself a small literary analysis of loss healed without being forgotten.
I give you a heart that has chosen freedom and now chooses love without fear. I give you a heart that has chosen freedom and now chooses love without fear.
I give you honor, patience, and a home where no disguise will ever again be needed.
The feast celebrates not luxury alone, but the social healing that follows justice restored. Banquet kitchens were machines of prestige, turning labor into edible architecture for the court to admire. Court spectacle mattered because rulers needed joy to be seen publicly, proving abundance, continuity, and control after crisis.
Let no child in this kingdom fear hunger, because a palace forgot mercy. You gave me work when I had nothing, and I remember even hard shelter with gratitude.
Recognition can travel downward as well as upward, healing class wounds one gesture at a time.
The relinquished crown shows that authority without self-command is only ornament, not wisdom.
Perrault often dresses morality in luxury, yet his hidden lesson is simple. True sovereignty begins where desire accepts limits. After spectacle comes quiet companionship, the rarer treasure promised by the ending. She does not burn the disguise in anger. She buries it like a hard season that once kept her alive. The helper withdraws once freedom is secure, reminding us that grace serves growth rather than dependence.
Many transformation tales leave behind a growing plant, suggesting that suffering composted by courage can bloom into beauty. Animal skins in folklore mark liminal identity, and this buried hide shows the passage from endangered.
A just ending in fairy tales is measured not only by marriage, but by whether the whole land begins to breathe more freely.
Stories teach us to recognize danger early and courage even earlier.
Good rulers in literary endings are shown building futures that outlast pageantry. Her mother remains part of the ending, not as a wound, but as a guiding brightness woven into memory. The garden completes the tale by showing that what was once hidden in shame can return to the world as beauty, shade, and shelter. Donkeyskin endures because it transforms survival into self-chosen sovereignty, teaching that dignity may hide in rags.